Today is the Tuesday. It happens to be on a Tuesday as well. Today is a palindrome as well as an ambiogram. Because whichever way you look at it, forwards or backwards, upside down, the right way up, it stays the same. And we haven't had a day like today for 248 years. And let's be really honest, all of us watching this right now, and me included in saying this, are not going to experience this again in our lifetimes. So it's a really pivotal day, isn't it? And for me, it's been a really pivotal day. Because a couple of really great people in my life have reached out to me this morning and given me a little bit of a talking to that I needed. And I wanted to come and share that because I wanted to share the raw, real honesty of who I am and where I am. And the fact that I am an evolving being just like you. And I'm not ever going to be complete in that respect. I'm always going to be learning. I'm always going to be improving. I'm always going to be becoming something more. But one of the things that I've really realised today is that I haven't been walking in my queen and living in my queen as much as I could have. I have a really great friend called Pad, and Pad has got an archetypal system that really describes our personality and the emotion that we show up with things around. And sovereign is what he calls it. So the sovereign for you is whether it's the king or queen, dependent on which one you are. And I've been acting a bit like a princess. I've been kind of throwing my toys out a little bit in certain situations because I haven't actually been owning my role as fully as I could in those situations. And I'm really good at telling you to be responsible. And so today it's about that raw, real honesty of coming out and saying, look, you know what, I do this too. And I usually say that, but I really want to own it in a different way today because I think it's really important. I've had a lot of drama in my life, and it was said to me this morning, turn your drama into your dharma. Turn these challenges on their head. So first of all, look at why are you experiencing these challenges? What is it inside you that needs to experience this so that you can grow and expand as a result of it? And I've been doing some of that today. And sometimes we can say, but I've already done this, I've already dealt with it. And I love the analogy of the onion. Well, maybe you did on that particular layer, but you've moved down a layer now. So this is about you delving into this particular layer. And it's about, for me today, it's about me really owning who's in my network and how we are all working together within that network. Because we are in this era of heart and soul. We are in this massive shift in energy for humanity. Some call it the age of Aquarius. My great friend John Sherry calls it the heart and soul era. It's all going wobbly a bit today. Because I'm really feeling into it. And because it's so important now, if you choose, for you to really own who you are. It's about this emotional independence. It's about really learning how to harness your emotion in a really positive way, but also really understanding where it's coming from and what that's connected to. My puppy right now is emotional because he's outside and he wants to come in and he can see me talking. And so he might woof a little bit. We'll just keep going because he needs a bit of fresh air. But again, it's about listening to the feedback. How are we listening to the feedback? And a really pivotal thing has happened today in my world that you may seem as you may kind of, well, we'll just put it out there. So today, in my house, we have had our internet cable that runs up to our house replaced. Now, let me give you a brief bit of history. 15 odd years ago when we moved here, well, like 16 years ago when we moved here, not long after we moved here, I was merrily cutting my hedge at the front of my house and cut straight through the internet cable that came up to my house. And they did a temporary fix. And what then should have happened, which didn't happen, was that they would come and put a new cable in. And basically, very long story short, 15 years later, and a lot of drama and stress and crap and hours wasted on the phone talking to people about internet connections not working properly, they've put a new cable in, which was the problem all along. And actually, instead of really analysing the whole situation and looking at what was causing the issue in the house, now we're on the other side of it, looking back and saying, well, the connection that comes to the house is obviously a big part of that. And if that connection isn't stable, then nothing else is going to be. And so now we fix that. And it got me thinking about my life and actually my experience of being in this home that I'm in. I spent a lot of years blaming it for the shit that was going on in my life. He's just got a big bone out of his basket. I spent a lot of years blaming it and said that it was the energy here, it was the environment. And actually all along, a little bit like that connection, it was something that maybe was so close there that I couldn't see it, let alone feel it. And when I realised that I've been in my princess a little bit too much and not in my queen, which is, you know, a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow in a good way. It's about me being responsible, and it's about me showing up and saying, look, do you know what? I created this. And actually, I created it because part of my gene keys is that complexity is the shadow that I am here to overcome. And simplicity is really the way forward for my life. And I had to overcome the shadow of complexity to get to the point of simplicity. And in many, many ways, I've done that. But then what's really interesting is, in owning that queen, I've realised that I've still been making some things complex. And I really have to feel into me and really get honest with me about certain situations as to why they are playing out the way they are right now. And I wanted to say this to you because this is a pep talk with complete love for you, because this is a pep talk about peace, because peace is a really, really high vibration. I've got it written down here. Peace is the highest vibration. It's higher than joy and it's higher than love. Because actually, if we can get to a space of peace, then love and joy are a byproduct of that peace. And for a long time, I've strove for love because that was where I needed to be. And again, this is an acceptance of the fact that we are on this journey for a particular reason, and that we have walked this path for a particular reason, and that I've got here today in this biggest aha moment of many, 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 many years on such an auspicious day. I have a massive thing about numbers. I'm huge on numerology because to me it really matters. And so what I want to say to you, and then I look down at my pad and my little girl has written a note on the bottom here and it says, need to play. And again, 6-year-olds teach us a lot, don't they? Life is about us playing. It's about us being peaceful. It is about us needing to play with life, having fun. A great friend of mine sent me a diagram this morning about key elements that we all need in our life every single day. And do you know what is at the top of it? It's fun. Why is it that when we get big, sometimes we forget about having fun because we get so goddamn serious about life? And we make it so complicated that we forget about the simplicity. And I'm laughing as I'm saying this because this pep talk is for me just as much as it is for you. And this is my way of really exploring things. Because ultimately, when any of us out there are talking to you, any of us people that have got that gift about sharing and that are here to have an impact on the world. And I choose not to use the word influence because I don't really like that word, because it isn't about influencing people. It's about impacting people's lives. It's about really just showing the different options and saying, right, you choose. Because actually, it's ridiculous for me to even contemplate the notion of influencing you, because you're not me. And I'm not here to live your life, and you're not here to live mine. We're here to mold together in our own unique way as one, but all different elements of that oneness. Because when we really own the notion of the oneness, it's about loads of different people creating their dreams in their own way, in their own version. And we all get to collaborate and collide beautifully along the way with each other in peace. Because right at this moment, you've got people on this planet that are wanting to have wars with other people simply because they don't want to do things their way. That's not the era that we're in anymore, and we will see these things start to crumble. Because look at where all of that power and ego got us. It's been the most invaluable lesson ever for humanity, hasn't it? And so now, it is with a heart full that I implore you to really live your life your way. To really own what it is that you came here to be. Go check out the Gene Keys. Go check out pad at teamme.com. And go and really start to own who you are. Go and look at your human design. Go and look at every which one resonates with you. They're mine. They're the ones that I love. They're the ones that I really feel expand me and explode me. But maybe they're not yours. And that's okay. Because we come here, we arrive in this body that's considerably smaller than I am now. And then we grow and evolve, and it's a natural process. Think about that. We evolve naturally. We grow naturally. We reach a certain point where that growth then turns into a different kind of growth, because it's almost like we get to the biggest point and then we start to mold and actually contract in some ways, because we shrink as we get older. But is that because of the way that we live our lives and the way that we think and feel about things? As I say this, it's making me go, yes, it absolutely is. And the more you expand, the more everything can expand. One of the things that I've discovered in all these years that I've been walking in these beautifully worn shoes is that I have this amazing body that serves me in an absolutely phenomenal way every single day. It's friggin' awesome, like what it does. And I kind of say, yeah, I'm grateful for it, but I'm really owning that gratitude for this fucking awesome body that I occupy every single day. It can fix itself. It can do all sorts of things. It does things that I can't even begin to imagine. It's got parts I've never seen. And in some ways, I hope I never see. Because I don't do cuts and all that kind of thing. But like, really seriously, this is the day for you to truly embrace and grasp your life. And get grateful. My great friend Mark this morning told me a story about a gratitude stone. And it was a really simple story about a guy that encouraged his son to have a gratitude stone and to be grateful for the simple things in life. And he sent it to a friend of his abroad, and then it kind of then became a really big thing, and they started selling these gratitude stones, and it became something huge. And it's just a simple little stone. And the guy wanted to know where he bought it from. And so he just went down to the beach where he got it from, got another one and sent it to him. And you know, I didn't need to go to the beach today, because I literally walked downstairs here into my kitchen diner and picked this stone up off the windowsill. But I don't even know what beach I got it from. I love pebbles and stones. But I picked it up a few years ago, I think. Maybe it was last year, I don't really know. And I'd got it in a little stack. And then this morning I realised that just pick up that little stone, Claire, the littlest things, and be grateful for it. Are you grateful for all of the dramas that you get to turn into dharmas? On a whole new level today, yes. Am I grateful for all the amazing gifts that I've been given? Yes, I'm grateful right now for this puppy digging my chair. I'm being slightly crazy because he's a baby and he's only 7 months old and we're still in training and we're still learning. But he is totally dependent upon me and what I can bring to the table for him. So I'm going to stop now because I'm going to start to waffle. But listen to the feedback. Who are you? Where are you? What do you really want to create? And honestly, what actual action are you taking towards that every single day? Because Bruce Lee said that knowing is not enough. We must apply. And if we don't apply, then how do we ever expect anything to change? It's the oldie but the goodie, isn't it? If you're not prepared to change, then how do you expect anything to change? You've got to be the epitome of who you want to become, like now. You've got to be a version of that right now. And when you are a version of that right now, then you can change everything. So I'm going to leave you with, you want to come? He doesn't want to come. This crazy little boy down here, learning about life, evolving and growing every day. And so for you today, grow and evolve. Start committing. Start being grateful. Get that little stone. Because you know what this is the real example of? That we live on this amazing planet that can naturally make things just like this. And yet we get consumed in the bigger stuff that's not really important. Why? Because that's what we're conditioned. How about you changing the conditioning and making it what you choose? Love to hear what you thought of that, how it made you feel. See you soon.